Okay, that's better. Okay, so if we look here, we can see that the school year in January begins around the 6th, 7th, okay, the 6th or the 7th. That's in the north of Spain. Yeah, and actually in the south, in Valencia, it begins around the same time on the 7th. So what we will do is we will give the schools a week to get back and just make sure everything's in place. And then we will arrive again on the 16th, 17th of January. Okay, 16th, 17th of January. The idea is you'll arrive on the 16th, give you some time to rest, and we'll do a bit of orientation on the 17th and 18th, and on the 19th, off you go. Okay, off you go to your schools. What's important then to look also down here at February here, which is in the north of Spain, at February in the south of Spain, or sorry, in Valencia. There's no public holidays. But when you come to March, you can see in the north of Spain, the first week of March, that's the 3rd, 4th, those are holidays. Okay, so you've got a very long weekend. You could take off probably Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So there's 5 days you could take off if you wanted to travel. Whereas if you were in Valencia, it would be the 3rd week of March. So if you were hoping people would come and visit you. Again, if we get to April, we can see that the Easter holidays in the north of Spain begin on the 11th of April, but in Valencia, they begin on the 17th of April. Okay, so what I mean to say is, why is this important for us? We won't go into too much detail. This is really important because if your family are coming to visit you, the dates that they choose will be affected by the regional vacations. That means the vacations which are set, which are not nationwide, which are rather on a regional basis. Okay. And the other thing to notice, if you see the final month of June, those two dates, the 13th and the 18th, or the 13th and the 23rd, those are the finishing dates. Okay. So officially, you can stay until the end of June. Of course, you can stay until the end of June. There's no problem. But if you decided that you wanted to go traveling, or if you decided maybe that you wanted to take the option, the new option we have of extending your stay and spending 2 or 3 months in the United Kingdom, which would be working on a summer camp, you're really free to go, let's say, after the first week of June. All right. So from about the 3rd, yeah, I mean, there's just a little bit of flexibility. Right. So depending on what your options are for the summer to go traveling, go to the UK or do whatever it is you'd like to do. Good. Okay. You'll also find that the town or city you're in will have additional local holidays. All right, these additional local holidays, you have national holidays, regional holidays, and then you have your specific town-based holidays. So each town and village and city has different days, which are also holidays. And when you put those together, you're always able to you can probably take the day before a holiday off as well. Okay, so we do want you to travel, absolutely want you to travel as much as possible and see as much as possible. Okay. Oh, wow, that's a bit in your face, isn't it? So here's something for you. Please don't ever use your phone in class. All right. The idea, I think it's now becoming a worldwide trend, isn't it? The effect of smartphones on young people, on children. Okay, so in some parts of Spain and in some schools, mobile phones, smartphones are not allowed in the classroom. Children are not allowed to use them. At primary level, you won't find them anywhere. And at secondary level, they have to be either handed in or turned off completely during class. So we don't want you, please, to use your mobile phone in class. All right. So you put it away, put it in your bag, look at it during the break. I really don't know in other countries, but in Spain, in all over Europe, it's terrible. You know, people are just like constantly on their phones, as I am, as is everybody else I know. But we're trying to kind of re-educate ourselves and re-educate kids as well into this. So no phones in class. That's just a message from our sponsors. Again, there we can see some of the locations that we're going to have. Remember, in fact, look, we're going to have a couple more down here. So we're going to have 2 now in Madrid, at least. But remember, we have our cluster around Valencia. Okay, around Valencia and around Valencia. Remember that 60 to 90 minutes into the city. A couple of them are small communities. Okay, then we have our little cluster up in the Basque country. Very small area, but here are some, you know, they might seem quite remote, but they're remote, but actually they're very near the coast. So if you like surfing and stuff, that's the area for you. If you like the outdoors, hiking and stuff, that's where you want to go. Okay? And then if you like culture and language and the purest Spanish, the very purest Spanish you'll ever hear, then this is your area, the Castile area. Okay, so this is very, very historic, and we do have a number of places there as well. They might be somewhat remote, but they're normally just on the outside, you know, I mean, they're outside cities, medieval cities, which normally have universities. You know, there might be 20, 30 kilometers, which means, you know, you're going to meet a lot of young people of your own age there as well, because they're very keen. Again, in Madrid, they tend to be quite strict schools, some of the more Catholic schools. So remember, I did ask you if anybody was if you have, you know, attended a Catholic school and you understand what this is all about, then, you know, go to one of these places, because the facilities, the resources, and the kind of community spirit is fantastic, I've got to tell you. But if you're going to be put off because, wow, they seem to be somewhat strict with their doctrine and so on, then don't. Okay. I always tell people, oh yeah, you know, like when I was a kid, I went to San Francisco, I went to California, and I was placed with a Mormon family. You know, I knew nothing about the Mormon religion. They invited me to participate actually in some Mormon kind of get-togethers and go to the Mormon church and so on. Well, they were really nice people. They didn't try to convert me or anything. It was a great experience. It didn't convince me that, you know, they were any better than anybody else, or that their religion had anything to offer me personally. But there we go. It's an experience. And of course, if anybody ever felt uncomfortable in that sort of situation, then you must tell me, please. Okay? Please tell me. That's the same all the way through. If you are at a school where you're feeling uncomfortable because you don't understand what's going on, let me know. Okay, this is an idea. This is just, you know, 7 schools which we currently have, which are fantastic. So we have this first one, which is a San Jose. That's a concertado school. A concertado school means that it is a school with some, it is faith-based. That means it is Catholic, because everything, there's no other faith really of any size in Spain. So Catholic. However, they have to let everybody in. Nobody is obliged to take part in any religious ceremony. They probably put more emphasis on celebrations like Easter and Christmas. But other than that, no, you would not feel at all. You wouldn't feel uncomfortable at a concertado. Okay, this is in Ontinyent. Again, this is about 90 minutes from Valencia. Lovely place. We had Amy who was there all last year. She was absolutely fantastic and loved it. It's in a town which has got about 20,000 people. She was immediately fully part of the community. So really community-based, lovely place. Then we've got Ametsa, which is a Basque primary school, only 120 students. Quite remote, but only 30 kilometers from the beach, from the coast, and great surfing. One of the most beautiful cities in Spain. Lovely, honestly lovely people. But this is the one for you if you say, look, I want to go, and I'm going to forget about the rest of the people. I don't want to forget about them, but I'm happy to do my own thing. I love, outdoors, hiking, trekking, and so on. This is the place for you. Okay, it's a lovely small school in a small village. There's a larger place, about 20,000 people, 7 kilometers from there. And then again, 25 kilometers further on, you got really big city on the coast, San Sebastian. Absolutely beautiful. Then we've got even smaller, 20 students at Tabora. This is a state rural school where they use something called the Montessori method. Montessori method is learning by doing. It's very tactile, okay? And so because they've only got 20 kids, they can really personalize the tasks. So yes, if you want the full-on teaching experience where you're going to learn some new techniques and skills, it's absolutely fantastic. There will be a German volunteer there as well. Okay, but she's already starting next week. That's lovely. I mean, it's just an amazing place. It's way out, okay, near the Portuguese border. I say way out is then, 1 hour from the provincial capital, which has a university, and therefore 2 hours from Madrid. So San Francisco, again, a concertado for faith-based, 400 students. Again, a small town, 8,000 people. This is 35 minutes from the center of Valencia. You would be absorbed into the community. All the families are involved in the community. All the families are involved in the school. Everybody knows everybody. So they will do everything for you. Okay, they will organize everything, and they will invite you to participate in so many local festivals. But again, about half the town actually, about half the town actually work in Valencia. The other half work locally. It's in the middle of orange growing country. We then got Cumbres, which is again about 20k from Valencia. It's near to a metro station, so you can get into the center very easily. It's a private school. This is highly faith-based. This is one of our very strict Catholic schools. Okay, fee paying, so the parents pay. Listen to this. I don't know how much they pay, but they say, okay, you have to pay for the first 3 kids. Okay, the family has to pay fees for the first 3 kids. Anything more, it's free. So I know there's one family there who've got 11 children. So 3 of them have to pay, or the family pays for 3. The other 8 go free, which is absolutely brilliant. Quite well off, I would say, quite well off families. Amazing. We had 2 Australian guys there last year who really were typically Australian, you know, want to go surfing, want to go to the beach, want to play volleyball. Yeah, just having a round, they were really laid back guys. Wow, they had a fantastic time there. Right. Basically, they had a good time because they understood the structure of the school. It was similar to what their own experience at whatever school they went to in Australia. Okay. I mean, that would be our 5-star school if we had to give a rank, okay, according to kind of quality of resources, of facilities, and so on. Okay. Eliana, again, this is like the first one, like the second one. It's okay, it's concertado, rather small, really community based, really, really friendly. Again, in a residential area outside the city of Valencia, but on a metro line into the center. Okay, it's a wonderful place, Eliana. Really is a fantastic place. Okay, and then we have Ciudad de los Niños, which is near Tabara, that's in a wonderful city called Salamanca. Salamanca is actually a World Heritage Place. It's the equivalent of Oxford or Cambridge. Okay, the equivalent of Oxford or Cambridge. So it's a university town with 2 universities. Absolutely amazing. Salamanca. That 250 kids. Again, it's in a residential area just outside of the city, but extremely community based. The people will really look after you. Okay, so you decide, and I'll be sending you a little questionnaire in the coming days just to take down your preferences again. And I've got a checklist, a yes, no, who you're traveling with, who you want to be placed with. Okay, sometimes, listen to me, sometimes friends apply together. And yeah, and one of them says, yeah, I really want to be placed with, Maddie. I really want to be placed with Nina or with Phoebe. And then Phoebe doesn't actually mention the fact that Sienna wanted to be placed with her. And in fact, Phoebe says, we're applying together, but actually, I think we'd like to have a bit of space. Maybe I don't want to be at the same school. So I need you both then just to confirm who you want to be placed with. Wow, this light is killing me. Okay, so that's just, I won't be giving you the list of schools. I'll be giving you descriptions of schools and asking you to choose maybe, what is the best fit option for you. All right. So for the moment, just going to go over again, we're going to go over some of the documents. So the documents which I need from you, the application form you've sent through, the photograph you've sent through, personal introduction, health and support form, terms and conditions, and your passport. Obviously, if you're still applying for your passport, then don't worry, send it to me when you've got it. Okay, so those are the things I should have now. All right. Okay. Now, when you are accepted, we're going to need these documents: a police certificate, international medical certificate, insurance, and references. I've sent you the information. There's no rush at the moment, but I would say you've got about 4 to 6 weeks to get these things. Okay. Now, your police certificate must be the version which is accepted by the consulate for your visa. Right? So you better inquire. I've been told that in Australia, there's a special police certificate which actually verifies your fingerprints. And that is the version they need. So please, just investigate. Just investigate. What is that? What is that police certificate which verifies your fingerprints? The second thing will be your international medical certificate. That does not seem to be a massive problem, okay? It just means that your doctor must fill in your medical certificate saying this person is of good health and has no infectious diseases. The doctor should know no infectious diseases described by the World Health Organization. So that medical certificate does not need it does not need x-rays or analysis or anything like that. Finally, you're also going to have to look at insurance to cover you. Now, there are specific kinds of insurance. Okay. Oops, that's just gone off. Sorry about that. So there are specific kinds of insurance. What you need to look for is not travel insurance, but medical insurance, health insurance. And that health insurance must cover all your costs. To give you an idea, that would normally cost you around 30 to 35 euros a month. So check it out to see, what kind of, I don't know if your family has some kind of health insurance or you have some kind of medical insurance. Just make sure that's something which you're aware of, please, and have a look. Look into those, please. Just look into them. No need. I'm not going to ask you to actually do them immediately. Okay. Okay. References, I've sent you the forms. If you did not get the forms, I can send them on to you again. And I will send you the specific information about the format of the certificates, the police and the international medical and the insurance. I'm just reviewing it, and I'm reviewing this because the consulate, the Spanish consulate, updates information 2 or 3 times a year. So I'm just waiting until the end of September to make sure we're on exactly the right track. So we have not had any visa applications rejected from Australia or from New Zealand. So no worries about that, as long as the information is well presented. Okay. Our arrival, if you're looking, is going to be around 16th of January in Madrid. Okay. So there'll be 3 days orientation. Okay. That will be at a hostel for next week's orientation for our September people. Most of them are actually coming from Europe, so it's 2 days, but we're using a hostel which is right in the middle of Madrid. So there's 4 bedrooms, a bed with breakfast. It's got a wonderful roof terrace, which is beautiful. It includes 2 meals over the 3 days. It doesn't actually include 3 meals. I'm sorry about that. 3 meals. Okay. And then you would have your transfer on the 19th of January onto your final destination. Okay. And that has an additional cost of approximately 225 euros. So let's imagine if you were coming, if any of you say, well, first of all, I'm going to go to the UK to visit family, for a week before, and then I'll come to Spain, you might then say, well, I'll just come for 2 days orientation. The first day is to sleep. All right. The first day, come and sleep because it's a long journey. Or you might say, oh, I've got friends in Madrid. I'm going to go and stay with them. And we'd say, okay, fine, up to you. Then just pay for your meals or don't pay for anything. And when it comes to meals, you can pay for your bit, and the transfer, you can pay for that separately, and so on. Not a problem. Okay, whilst we're here, I just want to this is Sarah. Okay. She's from Australia, actually from Australia, from Tasmania, and she came to a school near Bilbao. Um, let's see, what did she have to say?
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm from Hobart and I'm currently volunteering in Spain. I'm situated about 15 minutes from Bilbao, which is one of the major cities up north in the Basque Country. I am absolutely loving my time here. It is so beneficial to be living with a host family as you find yourself submerged in the culture in a way you just couldn't achieve if you were traveling by yourself. Working at a school is awesome as well. I'm currently teaching secondary kids, and seeing how I can have a positive impact on their English skills is such an awesome thing. The friendly people, the amazing food, the intense love for football are just a few of the reasons why I love it here so much. Getting to meet so many new people as well, like the other volunteers doing the program, you can form some really nice friendships, which is also super cool. So if you're wondering about doing the program for a few months or a year, I would definitely recommend it because I think you're going to have an absolutely awesome time.
Okay. Now, the funny thing is, Sarah, when Sarah came, I thought, um, I thought, wow, she was actually quite away from other volunteers, and she was alone, and she was very quiet, and I just didn't know. And yet, wow, by the time she did this recording, which was 5 months later, she was a completely different person. Okay, completely different person from what I'd expected. So, and she absolutely fantastic. I don't think she called me even to ask for anything. She was just, there, really well integrated at her school. Really enjoyed it. She was outside again. She was about 15 minutes because there was a metro into Bilbao. Just had a beautiful, wonderful time. Okay. So that will be you. I'll be asking you to record a message um, sometime after a couple of months. Okay. Our orientation, our online orientation, which is you must come, okay? You must come, is going to be on the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th of December. I've condensed it a little bit. So I did it last week and I thought, oh, that was a bit boring, to do 5 days. So I'm just going to condense it a little bit. So we'll be going over the program so that everybody knows what they're doing. We're going to be talking about schools and particularly ideas for things to do in class. We're going to be talking about family life. This is very important for you here in Spain. And then finally, we'll be talking about Spain and challenges. Okay. So please try to keep those times free on those particular days 2, 3, 4, and 5 of December. Okay. And look at the times, just make sure they're going to be okay with you. We'll also have more sessions. We'll have another session very early October, and we'll have at least one more session October and another one November. And then I'll be in contact individually about specific placements. Okay. When we're talking about our visa, you can't apply for a visa until I've sent you details of your placement. But basically, these are the documents which you're going to need at some point. Okay. So the documents are, okay, the visa application. It's always by mail, so you have to send it in. Right? I will send you the appropriate address of where you have to send it, whether that's in New Zealand or in one of the 3 consular offices in Australia. Okay, so number one is the application form. Number two, your passport. Number three, your student ID or driver's license. This is just to demonstrate that you live in the region or the province which is covered by that particular consular office. Okay. One recent passport size photo, a letter of acceptance from us, from New Ventures, which I will send on to you, a letter from the insurance company to show that you are covered. I'm giving here 3 local insurance policies, companies, which offer specific coverage for international youth mobility. You also need proof of financial means, which means that's a bank statement showing that in your bank account, you have approximately, or at least 650 euros per month. Okay, that means that per month of your stay, it means if you're coming to stay for 6 months, you have to show that you have 6 times 650 euros in a bank account. All right. So you probably have to speak to your parents about this and explain. I'll explain that next time, but that's very important. Doesn't mean that you do not have to part with this money. So if your parents wanted to put this into a bank account for you or open a bank account in your name, and as soon as you've got the visa, they can take it out, to be honest. It doesn't have to be there. They won't check up again afterwards. Then says we will only accept complete applications, original documents and copies of each, including your passport. So even you have to send in your passport. Okay, and copies of all the pages of your passport. And then the fees you have to pay by cash or credit card, or I know in Australia they like something called a money order. I'm not sure where you get a money order from your bank. You have to check that out. Then your police record check, copy and original. Remember that police record check in Australia is the one with the fingerprints. And there we go. The doctor's statement on a doctor or medical letterhead indicating that you've been examined and found in good physical and mental health to travel aboard, and you are free of contagious diseases and drug addiction. Oh, I didn't know that. And then if any of the documents are in English, they would have to be translated into Spanish, which is normally the police record check, the doctor's statement. I think that's about it. The rest of it is in Spanish from the insurance company, maybe a letter from the bank. Okay. We know of a very good agency in Sydney. They're very quick and they're reasonably priced. So when the moment comes, I will send you the details. Okay. So basically, you put all your documents in an envelope. You put another envelope in that envelope addressed to yourself, and then you send it to the consulate with your passport inside, and they contact you. Then I'd say in about half of all cases, they say, this document's not quite right. Can you send us another copy? Or we can't read this. Can you send us that? They ask you for some kind of clarification, and then they send it back to you. It takes about 4 weeks. Takes about 4 weeks. And they always say, oh, we've got a huge workload and we can't do it. And there's nobody here who speaks Spanish, or there's nobody here who speaks English. So we can't help you at the moment. They say that to everybody, but in the end, they sort it out. They do it for you. Okay. Don't worry about this. This is something else when you get here. That's another part of the process we have to do to get you a local ID card. Also, we're going to try and get you, we're going to try to get you local discounts in Spain. Okay, at the moment, there are many local discounts, especially as regards travel. Okay, especially as regards travel. So that's what's called a bono transporte. So bono is a voucher or season ticket. So it's a transport or travel season ticket. Depending on where you live, this will be free or will be at a greatly reduced price because you're under 25 or under 30. It might be regional or national. If it's in Valencia, it's completely free. That's in local and city travel normally. If it's regional or national, at the moment, this year, for example, if you were up in where we said right up in the north of Spain, this place called Amezqueta, a beautiful remote place up in the Basque country. At the moment, this year, you can get a season ticket which costs 20 euros, which would give you unlimited travel from Amezqueta, right up in the north of Spain, to Madrid, as many times as you like, for one single price of 20 euros. Okay, the single price of 20 euros. So that's what they've got, where a normal ticket would cost about 45. Okay, for each trip. Okay, so we don't know what's going to be on offer from January, so we can't really invite you to apply for any of these season tickets now. And then also with the rail and bus companies at the moment, the regional bus companies and train companies are offering these massive discounts. That's until the 31st of December. We'll have to see what they offer afterwards. Okay. Normally in the north of Spain they use bus more than train. Okay, just because it's quite mountainous, and therefore the trains sometimes take a long time because they have to go through the mountains very slowly, whereas the road network is actually a little bit better. Bus is normally cheaper than train. Okay. Also, if you are looking at opening an online bank account, which would be very useful for you, the one that I recommend is Wise. I know that because it is available in Australia. And it seems to be that if you open an account with Wise, you can get the documents you need to show that you have the funds in English or Spanish. You can download it online. The other thing is Wise is available all over Europe as well. So I think it's a very good one. I've heard of people using Revolut and N26 and Open Bank. But one of the questions is, what happens when I get to Spain and I want to take out cash, or I want to use my my debit card, my credit card? You have to check with your own bank how much they're going to charge you. Okay, as I understand it, Wise was a good choice for most people. Okay, again, and then your SIM phone and data for calls. Again, the best, just considering that at some point over the next, excuse me, at some point over the next few months, then you're going to be traveling around Europe. That Lobster gives you completely free calls wherever you are in Europe, whether you're calling mobile phones, landlines, to and from Spain, to and from any other country in the European Union, including the UK, actually. So Lobster's always a good option. Right? We have a special code which we can send you. No need to do anything yet, which will actually give you €5 off your first month. So first month, I think, would be €7, and the rest would be like €12 a month. Okay, so there we go. So that's it. So that's really what I just wanted to recap what we're talking about. And now let's look at some of your questions, please. Okay, For the Madrid locations, how close to the city are they? Well, one of them is actually right in the city center, literally in the city center. Okay. Others are on the outskirts of the city. Okay, but very well connected into the city center. Madrid has got a very good metro system and tram system. So, you know, maybe 30 minutes into the city center using public transport. If you're staying January to December, do you go back to the same school after the summer holidays? Sienna, that's up to you, actually. That's up to you. You can, I think we'd probably say, well, let's have a chat with the school, okay, and see how they're getting on, see how you're getting on. You want to go back to the same school? Perfect. You would like a change, maybe go to a different area of Spain? Yeah, we can do that for you. I think what we find is people's outlook changes, right, during those 6 months. So some people who said they were coming back for the final term in the end said, well, I'm going to stay in the UK. Yep, fine, absolutely fine. I suppose it depends on friendships and stuff that you make. It's an option for you. No, you get that you have to apply for the visa yourselves, okay? Well, I'll walk you through the process. It's the same for everybody. But yeah, you have to do it. That's also a personal thing. If you are if you're under 18 still, then you would have to apply with your parents' consent. Phoebe, stressed about organizing. Don't worry. Okay. I've got some really kind of out there um, volunteers, all right? Really, you know, I was just amazed how they ever got their stuff together, and they all got the visa. They all get the visa, okay? But it's just, you know, order. If you need to send me each document one by one, and I'll look over it when the time comes and say this is okay, okay? So don't worry. Just think there's no shortcuts. A lot of people say, well, I'll send everything in, and then maybe they'll say, well, that's okay. I'll send everything in, even though I'll send everything I've got in, even though I'm missing a few things. Not a good idea. Wait until you've got all the documents before you send them in. Right, do most of the host families know English, or do they expected to know Spanish? No, they don't want you to know Spanish. They want you only to speak English. They want their kids to be the kind of conduit. They want the kids to practice English. And Spanish people are so well-meaning that if they don't understand, they'll start knocking on the neighbour's door saying, "Hey, who speaks English? Oh, you speak English? Come over and tell us what tell us what Sienna's saying. We haven't got a clue." She says she likes scrambled eggs. What on earth is that? You know? So there's absolutely no problem. Most of the host families do know some English. Okay. But you will get by, and this will be one of the most challenging times of your life, but you will look back at it and say, wow, that was amazing, learning to communicate. Obviously, there's always we're going to have this ladder of support, okay? You need me to have a chat with the host family. You know, maybe it's something personal. Maybe you're using, I don't know, a particular kind of cream, you know, or ointment, you know, because yeah, you got a burn before you left. And you're trying to explain to the family that you need some more of this particular kind of ointment, but you can't actually explain what it's for. I'm happy to just talk to them on the spot and let them know. The earliest you would recommend booking flights? Well, if you are able to book a flight, which gives you yeah, if you're able to book a flight, I mean, you could do it, I would say, end of this month. Okay, end of this month would be the earliest, but make sure there's a clause which allows you maybe to change the date in case there's a delay. All right? Let's imagine there's a delay in your visa. So yeah, I mean, you can book flights now, but again, I would leave it until the end of the month. Remember, best day to book a flight is either I think Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay, Tuesday, Wednesday, best day to book a flight. And the preferred time to arrive on the 16th would be, you're going to be arriving in the morning most times, actually. Okay. So yeah, I mean, any time really. Best time would actually be about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, because we know that check-in time for most hotels is 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, and we'd like you to check in and be able to rest almost immediately. How should we translate our documents? Those ones which need to be translated, I will send you the details of a translation agency. The police check the same as a blue card. You know what? You're going to have to ask or send me a copy of the blue card. I don't know what that is. What time zone are the times in for orientation? That's 9 to 11 Spanish time. 9 to 11 Spanish time. So that means in Sydney, that would be at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And in Wellington, that would be at 7 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay. More questions? The following few weeks before our next Zoom meeting, what I need you to do is to make sure I've got the references, I've got your personal letter of introduction, I've got your photo, and I've got your a copy of your passport for the moment. Okay, and then to fill in this little questionnaire I'm going to send you on Monday, asking you about your preferences. Okay. Sienna, there's no particular document for minor authorization. Okay, that is something which that'll be on the visa application. Right, that will be on the visa application. What can we do during the summer holidays? My advice, if you're very lucky and you're with a family who said, come and spend the summer holidays with us, that's good. My advice would actually be go to the UK and do some work in a summer camp. All right. Then you get the best of both worlds. You have a lot of fun there. You have a lot of fun. I think 5 of ours went over to do that. And as I said, 2 of them have said, no, we're going to stay on. One wants to stay on another year in the UK. So she's obviously having a great time. You could also work on summer camps here, but normally August is a very quiet month in Spain. There's absolutely nothing going on. To be granted the visa, no, you don't have to have a flight. Okay. You don't need a flight for the visa. And you can book a one-way flight, of course. A one-way flight is fine. With the medical clearance, no, you don't have to mention muscle, joint, or muscle problems. There's the health and support sheet, which I've sent you before. Let me see if I can find it. Excuse me. Health and support. I hope I've sent it to you. If I haven't, let me know and I will make sure that I do send it to you. Let's just see. That's really important for us to know, but on the medical form, it doesn't really matter. Okay. All right, so I will stop now. Any other questions? How long until we should book the flights? End of this month, please. Please wait. All right. I really need the current volunteers to arrive next week. Okay. There will be no problem. And the latest you should book whenever you like. Okay. The latest you should book, I think, would be when I'm telling you the exact location and timetable of the orientation in Spain. So I'd say the first week of December.